3, 2, and 1.
Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting of October 21st, 2021. It is 7:30 p.m. For preamble, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Welcome to the City Council meeting of October 21st, 2021. This meeting is compliant with the Ralph M. Brown Act as amended by California Assembly Bill number 361, effective September 16, 2021, providing for a public health emergency exception to the standard teleconference rules required by the Brown Act. The purpose of this is to provide a safe environment for the public, staff, and council members while allowing for public participation. The public may address the council using exclusively remote public comment options. The council may take action on any item listed on the agenda. Members of the public may view the City Council meeting by logging into the Zoom webinar, and City Council meetings can also be viewed live and or on demand via the city's YouTube channel, youtube.com/BrisbaneCA, or on Comcast Channel 27. Archived videos can be replayed on the city's website at brisbaneca.org/meetings. To address the council, the City Council meeting will be an exclusively virtual meeting. The City Council agenda materials may be viewed online at brisbaneca.org at least 24 hours prior to a special meeting and at least 72 hours prior to a regular meeting. Meeting participants are encouraged to submit public comment in writing in advance of the meeting. Aside from commenting while in the Zoom webinar, the following email and text line will also be monitored during the meeting, and public comments received will be noted for the record during oral communications 1 and 2 or during an item. Email ipadilla@brisbaneca.org, text 628-219-2922. Join the Zoom webinar with the webinar ID 991-9362-8666 and the passcode 123456 and the call-in number 1-669-900-9128. If you need special assistance to participate in this meeting, please contact the city clerk at 415-508-2113. Notification in advance of the meeting will enable the city to make reasonable arrangements to ensure accessibility to this meeting. And also, due to a special assistance request from a member of the public, we're turning on the live transcription at tonight's meeting. If you would like to turn off live transcriptions and you're joining us via Zoom, please go to More, which is on your lower right hand of your screen, and turn on, go to Webinar Settings, and then toggle off the closed captioning. And you should not be able to see the transcriptions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thanks, Ingrid. Okay, item 1 is 7:30 p.m. call to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I'm calling this meeting to order at 7:34 p.m. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2 is roll call. City clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Lance.
Here.
Councilmember Mackin.
Here.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Here.
And Mayor Cunningham.
Here, thank you. Can we get a report out from closed session, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Item D in closed session, conference with real property negotiator. Council discussed the matter and gave staff direction as to how to proceed. Item E, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, was a continuation and closure of a prior discussion at the last meeting, and there was no action to be taken, just finishing the matter. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Tom. Item 3 is adoption of the agenda. Can I get a first and second to adopt the agenda as it stands?
I'd make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Lentz.
Aye.
Councilmember Mackin.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
and Mayor Cunningham.
Hi, thanks very much. Item 4 is awards and presentations. Item A is the Volunteer of the Year presentation. I do believe we have a Volunteer of the Year here today in our session. Is that correct, Ingrid? Okay. Well, it's always an honor for me to read these proclamations and give out these awards. This is a very special one for me. This is a very good friend of mine, and I was the last person to make comment on whether this person was going to be our Volunteer of the Year or not. So it was a done deal before I even got to open my mouth, which made it even more special. And without further ado, it is my absolute honor, Sharon, to read this proclamation for you as the Volunteer of the Year. You so deserve this, have done for a long time. But if you hadn't been volunteering for everything else in town, we might have been able to honor you a little bit earlier. But hey, this is why you're finally getting the award. So without further ado, City of Brisbane proclamation. A proclamation of the City Council of the City of Brisbane recognizes Sharon Boggs with a volunteer service to the City of Brisbane. Whereas she is a dedicated community member who has demonstrated ongoing commitment to the City of Brisbane while acting with the purpose of community in mind and giving selflessly to others. And whereas Sharon is known throughout the community for contributions in many areas and personally strives to improve the quality of life for others. And whereas she has served on the Parks and Rec Commission, fills a current seat on the school board, and is a devoted member of the Brisbane Lions Club. And whereas she volunteers her time at countless city events, such as the annual Festival of Lights to provide audio and visual services, and is front and center at the DJ dance party for concerts in the park. And whereas Sharon was a founding member of the Luna Fest event subcommittee, helping to raise over $86,000 the past 3 years for Brisbane women pursuing degrees in male-dominated fields. And whereas Sharon was instrumental in establishing the Brisbane COVID Response Coalition to provide services to residents, ensuring everyone's basic needs within our community were being met. And whereas Sharon embodies the spirit and community of this award. And now, therefore, be it resolved that after many decades of dedicated volunteering, we take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Sharon Boggs for her tireless spirit, selflessness, and dedication to serving others. Many congratulations to Sharon on being named the 2021 Volunteer of the Year. Council, any comments you'd like to make to Sharon?
Thank you. Thank you for this amazing honor. And I'm really blessed to be recognized among a group of, I believe, over 20 people now that have gotten this honor. And it's an amazing group of people to be put up with. So thank you. I appreciate the honor, the recognition, and I love this town. So it keeps going and going. This just makes me want to give back more. So thank you all. Thank you.
City Council, anybody want to make any comments to Sharon?
Yeah, I'd like to, Madam Mayor. Sharon, you're such a blessing, to our community. And, obviously you do it, because, you love giving back. And the joy that you get from giving is really inspiring. I mean, you do it because, hey, you're part of this community, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help each other out, and especially in times of need. And you stepped up big time during COVID. I mean, the Brisbane COVID Response Coalition, that doesn't happen if Sharon Boggs doesn't live in Brisbane. I mean, you are the heart and soul of that operation. And so many people, can look to you and say, yeah, thank you for helping me, during that time, because I really, really needed that assistance. So you're awesome, Sharon. Thank you so much.
Anybody else would like to say something? No? Okay, I think,
Oh no, I was just gonna go last.
well then
Just
go.
waiting for somebody. I was waiting.
All right, Colleen or
Somebody
Terry?
else go first, but
All right,
if
wait a
somebody
minute.
else is ready, I'll just go now.
Wait a
So-
minute. Terry's got
So I'll
something
go
to say.
ahead and say, Sharon, thank you so much for all your service to the city and everything you've done. Every event I go to, I see you there and you're participating, you're helping, you're running the show. And if anybody's an overachiever, it's you. And so I'm glad that we were able to honor you with this at this time. So thank you so much and congratulations.
Colleen, I think you better jump in.
Sharon, you know, in most cities, I think you would be a draftee because normally they have to push people to do things. So the fact that you volunteer is really quite astounding. And I think you're going to make a tough act to follow for anybody even being considered for this award. So thank you very much for all you do.
All right, Madison, you're last,
Okay.
but not least.
I've been told I should normally go last, so on these kinds of things. So anyway, just keeping up with tradition. Sharon, I'm so I'm not happy that you're not on the Park and Rec Commission anymore, but when the minute that you decided, to pursue school board and no longer serve on the Park and Rec Commission, I was sad, but I was like, you know what the bright side is? We're getting her for volunteer of the year. And we had always, I think as a committee, wanted to recognize you for all the work that you had been doing, but while you were serving on a commission, you would end up finding out. So we had to wait, and we all sat down to have that conversation, and I just said, you guys know, like, it has to be Sharon this year, right? And everyone was like, duh, of course. And I'm so blessed to know you and to call you a friend, but to also be able to work with you. And you are somebody who just sees a need and fills it. And that's something that you just do it right away. And I think that being around you makes me want to work harder. It makes me want to give back more. And I think that those are the types of people that you want in your life, are the people that set an example, and the people that hold you to a higher standard, and the people that motivate you to want to be better. And I think that it's rare when you find somebody who can bring that out in you. And I very much feel like, what we do with LunaFest, just as one example, is such a collaboration. And I don't think that there's no way we would be able to pull that off without your involvement. And I think that that's true of just so many city events. We have Festival of Lights, right? And that, once you came on the scene, I feel like Festival of Lights was just totally upgraded. And last year we did the virtual Festival of Lights, which if you weren't in the picture, I don't think that it would have been such such an amazing production. And we are so blessed to have you be committed to the city and wanting to be involved. And I think that, we really need to give you so much credit for you being able to have not just this willingness to give back, but to be able to use the talents that you have to just bring everything up a notch. And so for all of your, your spirit, but also all of your audio visual talents, you've really upgraded us. And I thank you for that. So I hope that you wear the Volunteer of the Year award proud. I think what was so funny about that day, if you guys weren't there, what happened was Karen started giving the speech, right? And Sharon didn't even know, because Sharon's over there working the register. She's doing the hot dog sales for the barbecue. And we're trying to pull her. People start realizing it's her, right? And so we're trying to pull her towards the front. And she's like, you guys, I'm busy. No one knows how to work the register. I can't. And we were like, and Emmett's trying to grab her and Sue Cochran's trying to grab her. And they're like, Sharon, come over here right now. And she's like, no, I'm working. And so then finally we had to tell her, like, listen, you're getting the award. Okay, come over here. And so we get her up, and then almost immediately she's like, okay, guys, I gotta go back. I gotta work the register. Nobody knows how to do it but me. I gotta get back there. And I was like, this is exactly the type of person who would be the volunteer of the year. The person who's like, okay, hurry up and take a photo because I need to get back to my volunteering. And that is quintessential Sharon. So thank you so much for everything that you do and for being, one of the lifebloods of Brisbane. And we couldn't do a lot of things without you. So thank you.
You're muted, Sharon.
Oh, I know. I am not anymore. Thank you so much. I'm unmuted now. It said I was. I just feel, again, so blessed, and thank you. Those were just such beautiful things. And I love this town, and I love all of you. Thank you for what you do to make our town as great as it is. So together we do it. Thanks.
So Sharon, I have a request.
Okay.
Can you add the song We Are Family to one of your playlists?
Absolutely. At the 60th anniversary party.
Here we go.
This Saturday night, I'll play it for sure.
There you go. That's my request. Thank you.
Awesome. No problem.
You have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye. Ciao.
Love you.
Okay. That is a hard act to follow. I hope someone in oral communications has something really wonderful to say. So we're moving on to item 5, oral communications number 1. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on public comment on anything that is not on this evening's agenda? Okay.
I have a raised hand from Roland.
Okay, go ahead, Roland.
Good evening. I'm a Honorable Mayor and Council, Roland Rubran, San Jose. So first of all, I want to give you a huge thank you for the closed captioning. It's much appreciated. But without pushing my luck, I'm wondering whether it would be possible to enable the button at the button at the bottom of the transcript window that allows it to save the transcript, because what that allows me to do is that I got complete repository of transcripts, and I can search that repository, and then when I find what it is that I'm looking for, that I remember somebody saying, it'll then give me the date and the time that that person said, whatever it was, and then I can refer back to the video if I need to. The other thing I'd like to respectfully request, and then again, I do appreciate I'm not, well, at least not yet, one of your constituents, is the team building on a Sunday. And my understanding is that this is going to be in person only. And normally I would drive up there and be with you, but I understand that you're probably going to have, full masking protocols in place. And quite frankly, that sounds about as much as a Costco run. So I was wondering if it would be possible to somehow remotely participate, or at least, listen in. But if not, I guess I'll have to pass up on this opportunity this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roland. Are there anybody else who wishes to make any comments? Ingrid?
Madam Mayor, I have received no further comment or written correspondence.
Okay, Roland still has his hand up. Did you have something else to say, Roland?
No, I'm sorry. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 6, the consent calendar.
I'd make a motion to approve item B, C, D, E, F.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Lentz,
Aye.
Councilmember Mackin,
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell,
Aye.
and Mayor Cunningham.
Aye, thank you. Moving on to item 7, The public hearing is item G. Consider introduction of ordinance number 665 to amend Brisbane Municipal Code Title 17 zoning ordinance to allow large family daycare homes by right in zoning districts that permit residential uses consistent with the requirements of state law. Staff report, please.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. This legislation was passed and effective in 2020. And basically all it does is require that large family daycare homes, which are defined as serving between 7 and 14 children, need to be treated like single family residences in local ordinances. So in other words, if a zoning ordinance allows single family by right, the large family daycare must be allowed by right as well. So we're looking at doing this evening is amending the zoning ordinance several ways. Zoning districts that allow single family by right, the R1, R2, R3, RBA would be to allow a large family daycare by right. The zones where single family requires a use permit, what we're trying to clarify is that if a use permit is required for a home, a single family home, another use permit is not required for family daycare. So would not require additional discretionary permit. So with that, that's what the ordinance does. So we recommend that the council introduce ordinance 665, and I'd entertain any questions you have.
Lots of questions?
I got a question, Madam Mayor. So John, I mean, I know so this is state law, right? We have to abide by the state law, right? So it really is just a formality. So, but I was curious to know if someone wanted to turn a single family home into a daycare center, and that's all that it was, this ordinance would allow that to occur, and it's open during the day and then it closes down at night.
Just a large family daycare would be permitted by right.
Okay, all right, just curious, because the ones that we have in town right now, people live there and then they operate part of their house as a daycare center, correct?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just getting some understanding. All right, thank you.
Any other questions, Gustav? Okay, this is a public hearing, so with no more questions, I open the public hearing. Ingrid, is there anybody who wishes to speak on this item?
I see no raised hands, Madam Mayor. No written correspondence from members of the public.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a first and a second to close the public hearing? Oh, sorry, Greg.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Can we have a discussion for a moment?
Sure.
I just have a question. Large family daycare center would also include adult family care.
Question.
You mean
So a residential adult facility?
no, this would be children's daycare.
Oh, so only children, when they say family daycare, they don't mean adults.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question.
Okay, let's try that again. Can I get a first and a second to close the public hearing?
So moved.
And I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please. Ingrid? Roll
Can you
call
hear
vote.
me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the motion. Roll call vote. Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Lentz,
Aye.
Councilmember Mackin,
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell,
Aye.
and Mayor Cunningham.
Aye. Stop discussion on this.
Make a motion to introduce ordinance number 665.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Lentz,
Aye.
Councilmember Mackin,
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell,
Aye.
and Mayor Cunningham.
Hi, thank you, everybody. Moving on to item 8, old business. Item H is short-term rental ordinance implementation update. Staff report, please.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. You recall that the city adopted an ordinance which took effect last summer, which allowed short-term rentals subject to a number of operational and performance standards and a permitting process. The implementation followed up with the city entering into a contract with a vendor, Host Compliance, to automate the short-term rental permit process and monitor short-term rental activity, which would enable the city to do proactive code enforcement as well as to collect TOT or transient occupancy tax. So it took a little while to get the system operational. We really didn't go live until early summer of 2021. And since then, the city's been systematically and proactively monitoring short-term rental listings, initiating code enforcement, and attempting to achieve TOT collection as well. While the data is relatively limited, given that the system has only been in place for a fairly short time, we started out with 12 short-term rentals identified in June of 2021. The latest data report from mid-October identified 6 such units. Number of active code enforcement cases dropped from 12 to 4, which means that we are seeing some compliance of those units that were previously identified. Compliance has taken a variety of forms. Sometimes it's by the listing being removed. Others have converted from short-term to long-term rental over 30 days, which are permitted by the code. And we did finally receive our first short-term rental permit application through the system, which was currently in process. Additionally, as I understand, as of September, end of September, the city collected approximately $4,500 in TOT from operational short-term rentals. So with that, I take any questions you have. And again, we're not, this is an informational presentation. We'll take any direction from the council, but we're not asking for any council action at this point. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Council questions?
I have a question.
Moving on, Colleen, raise your hand first.
John, if you don't have it at hand, that's okay. Do you recall what the duration of the contract is with Host Compliance?
I believe it was 1 year. So
Okay.
it'll come up at the end of in December.
Okay, so we'll have a chance to evaluate. And I mention it only because as I understand it, there are other people doing the same thing. So we have options if we're not satisfied with their performance. Thank you.
Madison?
Are you allowed to say what address or what street the application came from for?
It's not complete yet. So until it's complete, it's not considered a formal application. So I hope it'll be complete very soon and I can report that information to the council. When it is.
So does Host Compliance, like, it's an ongoing, like they're checking online short-term rental websites frequently, so that maybe if somebody pulls their listing down but then puts it up a few months later, that's going to be caught.
It'll be captured again, which is, again, I know certain council members have expressed concern about the 30-day, rental and whether that's really just sort of a way to avoid the ordinance. There are ways where if it's posted for 30 days this month, but in the future it changes, yes, Host Compliance data review will catch that in the future.
So then they're documenting, like, are they sending out warnings?
Actually, what they do is they provide the data, and then the city, we monitor the data on a regular basis every 2 weeks or so. And then the city is the one who actually initiates code actions, which is typically a notice to correct, which is to tell somebody to take down their listing or otherwise bring it into compliance. They have a certain amount of time to comply. And if they don't, then we follow up with a fine and a citation.
Okay, those are my questions. Thanks.
If I may, so the amount of money that we received in TOT, transit occupancy tax, was that from a multiple of listings?
I believe it was from 2 or 3, but I don't know if the finance director is is at the meeting. She probably know better than I do. Caroline is here.
Yeah, so that was 2 properties that paid for TOT through September.
Okay, and so we were trying to work with those properties to get them in compliance with the law also.
Yes, that goes, the 2 separate processes. One is the legalization from a zoning standpoint, and the other is the TOT collection. It may be, and not knowing the 2 addresses specifically, they may or may not be eligible for a permit. We may not be able to legalize them depending on if they meet the criteria to obtain a short-term rental permit.
Okay, thank you.
I have
Yes.
questions, Madam Mayor. The vendor, so how do they receive their money again from us?
We have a 1-year contract.
So is it a monthly fee
It
that
was
we
for
give them, or is it like
there's
a
a-
commission based?
No, it was a 12-month contract with them to set up the system. They provide the data, they set up the platform for the permitting. But it's a year-to-year contract.
Oh, okay, and then the TOT that is collected, do they collect it for us and then they give it to the city?
I'd have to defer to, I don't believe that's the case. I'll let Carolina take care of that.
No, the properties actually can file online, pay online. And actually 1 property, because they did not qualify as a permittable property, they actually paid us directly.
Okay, all right. All right, and you talked about issuing the fines that all, is done by the city. So I know, John, you talked a little bit about the 30-day rental compliance and that there are these I guess these safeguards in place so that there aren't loopholes. I know that we've had some issues with some homes, or that those ones, are they in compliance at this time?
Well, as I indicated, we have 4 sort of outstanding cases and 6 were identified. I believe 4 of those were repeats, so 2 new ones. So it does kind of vary over time. We scrape the data about every 2 weeks looking for new listings. And so again, historically, I may know sites you're thinking about, but I don't have site-specific data in front of me at the moment.
Okay, all right. I know that could be sensitive. So, but it just, I mean, it's great to get this update because it is one of those issues that people like to talk about in town, and of course it does, negatively impact certain, people who live in town because of the nuisance that these can cause if
Sure.
not properly regulated. So, all right, thank you.
Any more questions for staff? So does the city council have any further direction for staff regarding this matter right now? I mean, we're not voting on anything, but do you have any other ideas or anything that you want to suggest?
It seems like we need more data. Like not enough time has passed.
Yeah, well, and I think it's a complex matter, especially when, we know of certain properties that advertise 30 days, but then when the people apply, they only apply to stay for 2 days, and he goes, that's okay, or she goes, that's okay. The problem with multiple cars on streets hasn't gone away. The problem with noise has not gone away. And I personally felt when we were discussing this that we've done a really good job of trying to make this as good as possible and as comfortable as possible for all of our residents. But, unless we can really get this under control quickly, I'm still very unhappy with how it's proceeding. And financially, some of the parties are coming to the table. That's great, but it doesn't seem like many. And many of us know properties that are actively and on an ongoing basis doing Airbnb. And how do we know that those properties are being monitored? Can we have discussions about that? What do we do? How do we proceed with that? Maybe that's a question for Tom. Or not.
It's a sensitive area, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Certainly, you can discuss what is public information. I would have to talk to John offline to understand the timing of when information is publicly available through the vendor. On top of that, even if it technically is in our hands, if there's an investigation going on, you don't want to address it. I think that Councilman Lance really hit it on the head when he said that more data will be useful, and I think you will have that with this first year experience. And I say that because that will also tell us what changes you might want to look back on, or what changes you might want to make looking back.
Sure, because it just still feels very, very loose and very disjointed and pretty uncomfortable. So
the reason, Madam Mayor, I want to stress, the reason it may feel that way is some of the problem properties are not necessarily problems now. And so you're also, the vendor and the city are looking at where did this one come from? Is it a problem? Is it ignorance of the statute, of the ordinance, things like that? So it is quite fluid, and I think that year, I hope that year will give the council far more information that it can go through and sort of think through what it wants going forward.
Okay, thanks, Tom. If there is no further comments or questions for John, we'll move on. Seeing nothing, let's move on to item 9, new business. Item I, update on committee bylaws, staff report, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is an item that came up from the liaisons from the Complete Street Safety Committee. That's Mayor Cunningham and Councilwoman Mackin. And they've met with myself, I think, on a couple of occasions, and we've kind of gone through what the current rules state, what the practice has been, and what the issues around the issue of quorum at meetings has become. The issue, this is, I want to state first that this is not a widespread problem with our committees and commissions. It occasionally happens. We had an issue with the Complete Streets Committee back in August, and I think that's what kind of prompted the desire to review this. The current language I put in the staff report, but I'll just read it out loud. It says a quorum is necessary for the Complete Street Safety Committee meeting to be held. A majority of the voting members of the committee shall constitute a quorum. In the event that there is no quorum, any discussions which are held by those assembled shall be regarded as informal and non-binding. Our practice has been to allow the committees to continue to meet and to discuss items on the agenda without the quorum, but it's so noted that there's no formal votes taken, no direction to staff, and the meetings, the minutes that come out of the meeting indicate that also. Similar language exists in the bylaws for the Open Space Committee. In meeting with the liaisons, they felt that there was several concerns with regards to having meetings continue on. I think a couple of those had to just with the public perception of somebody listening in or watching in on a meeting and not understanding that a quorum wasn't present, and then hearing the discussion could be confusing. And it could also potentially give the committee members some I guess, kind of false sense of moving forward on items that, when they're actually not doing so. So the committee, the liaisons would like the council to consider directing staff to come back to you with amendments to the Open Space and Ecology Committee and the Complete Streets Committee. In reviewing the documentation on this. Those two committees have this kind of language. We do also have kind of an omnibus city ordinance that deals with all of our committees and commissions. And I've listed them in the staff report that is basically silent as to any issues relative to quorums. It just doesn't deal with that. So it seems to me that if we want this to affect everybody or all our commissions and committees, then that probably would be the document to do so. But I think we also need to amend the bylaws of these two committees. With that, I'll answer any questions, and the liaisons may also want to make some comments or answer some questions from the rest of the council.
Okay, any questions? Colleen, do you want to say something about this?
Yes, I would, Madam Mayor. Thank you. I think one other point that our mayor had in conjunction with this is not just the appearance of something potentially being a meeting when it's not. It's that oftentimes these discussions that are held as unofficial meetings do not have some critical members of the committees that have information that's extremely relevant to what they're discussing. So anyone viewing this is missing a big part of the picture. And then it ends up the next meeting, they have to catch everything up and correct all the errors. And it's just a waste of staff time. And we just felt it wasn't a good practice. I mean, if we use the Planning Commission and the council as a model, we don't have meetings without a quorum. So that's my piece on it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that if we don't do it, if it only takes like 1 or 2 times to not have a meeting for you to start getting people that show up. So I think, I mean, I have known that there have been, I know that there was a time when OSEC really struggled to get a quorum regularly. And I think that, if the consequences of the meeting can't continue, then maybe people would take it a little bit more seriously. And I think it would be important for the council to know when we're coming up on our commission and committee interviews, if there are certain commissions that routinely aren't able to hold, excuse me, sir, that are routinely not able to hold meetings because there's not a quorum. That's something we're gonna want to know. So that's, I agree with Colleen.
I feel really sensitive about the fact that, I want to think that everybody on every committee and every commission takes everything seriously when there's a meeting and does show up. And that was sort of part of my point. I mean, we're short-staffed, we're looking for staff. We just lost a key person in public works. And, I think everybody's time is money. And, there's a whole respect part of this that's very, very important. So, and as Colleen said, if we're holding a meeting and not really having a meeting, but we're discussing half of the material that has to be rediscussed at a later date, we are wasting staff time, and which is taxpayer dollars in my mind. So that's kind of where we came to that. Okay, so is there any other comments from council?
I do have one question for the liaisons. So you're recommend, which I think I agree with all of your points. I think they're very well taken and it makes sense. So your recommendation is to have this be applied to all of the commissions and committees, that everything is consistent across the board. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then I'm in full favor of that.
Yeah, it just makes sense. And, just respecting everybody's time to me is super important. And, in our staff time, that's our taxpayer dollars we're spending, as well as not respecting our staff. So, I think it's important. Are there any comments any more comments?
May I add one thing, Madam Mayor?
Sure.
Some of these committees will meet 10 times a year. And when they don't have a quorum once or twice out of those 10 times a year, when you look at their work plans, they're not moving things along because they can't. And this was other part of the impetus with this, is to get people to take it seriously. It's not that they're just being lazy, missing meetings, but they're not seeing the impact it's having on everyone else. And that's not okay. So we want to make sure they understand it's a responsibility when you're appointed to the committees.
Ingrid, is there anybody from the public who wants to make a comment on this?
Madam Mayor, I have not received any written correspondence, and I do not see any hands raised.
Okay, if there's no further discussion or comments, is there a first and second to direct staff to?
Madam Mayor, you
Sorry,
do have a hand raised.
I do. I don't see one.
One on the attendees, it says Barbara and
Yeah,
Greg.
Barbara Ebel, 1 moment.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, just a quick comment. This is, in fact, the way we have done it on OSEC. We've not held meetings, gone forward with meetings. If we did not have a quorum for some reason, and I think it's a good practice. I think it's great to apply it to everyone. I'm in accordance with everything Colleen said. I think there was maybe just a little staff communication gap. I think when decisions are being made that affect the laws of the bylaws for committees and commissions, it would be nice to inform the committees and commissions. I can't see what objection anybody would have to this particular change. As I said, it's the way we've been functioning, at least on OSEC. But just as a thing going forward, it'd be nice to be kept in the loop about our own fates. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else, Ingrid?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So that being said, is there a first and second to direct staff to amend the Open Space and Ecology Committee and Complete Streets Safety Committee bylaws and the rules and procedures for the City of Brisbane commissions and committees to restrict meetings so that only meetings that achieve a quorum may continue?
So moved.
Second.
So I have a question, since
Sure.
this is considered new business and it was said an update, should we really be doing a motion on this?
I thought it was a report just this evening. Just sort
That's
of.
what I assumed it was, and I think we should be giving direction, but I don't think we should be taking a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever, that works. That's the rules.
The point of tonight was just to provide direction. If you don't want to do it through a motion, you're just acclamation, that's fine. We'll come back with the amendment to the two committees and the general rules.
So do we give
Okay,
a thumbs up?
it said it was just an update, so I think that's what we should uphold, give direction to staff.
Okay. So
Sure.
do we give thumbs up? Thumbs up.
Sure.
To give
You're
staff
good.
direction?
You're good.
Okay, give thumbs up.
We're ready to move on.
I think you got it, Clay. Sorry. Okay, item 10 is staff reports. J is the city manager's report on upcoming activities.
I'm having technical difficulties on my end, so Deputy City Clerk Ibarra will be sharing her screen.
Okay. So if we can flip to, there we go. So Brisbane 101, a learning event at City Hall on Saturday, November 6th. Tomorrow is the last day to apply, October 22nd. You can apply online. We're looking forward to having 20 residents, and I think we're either at that or very close, but we still have some slots if people are interested. Next slide.
I'm trying. It's
Okay.
not moving. Yes.
Okay, the 60th anniversary party, which is scheduled for Saturday evening, is reached capacity. So we are not able to take any more reservations for that, but we do welcome people to come to the library celebration, which starts at 10 a.m. Activities will include the 3D printing, virtual reality, glow forge, sewing, story time, musical performances, and arts and crafts. And that will start at 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Other events taking place on Saturday include the Lions Flu Shot Clinic at the Senior Sunrise Room from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Lions Club Run and Walk with a barbecue lunch afterwards in the park. The check-in person registration at the park starts at 9 a.m. or head over to brisbanelions.org website and you can sign up there. Lions Pumpkin Patch under the gazebo will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Free, one child per donation. I'm not quite sure what that means. One, but free for one child at donations accepted. We've been advertising for our countywide housing series. The second workshop will be taking place on October 27th. You can register at letstalkhousing.org/events. Despite the good news today with some rain, it was a welcome sight, but we all need to remember to conserve water, both indoors and outdoors. We are still in a stage 1. You can get information about the stage 1 drought at brisbaneca.org. Now is a good time to turn off outdoor irrigation. And if you need sandbags, they will be available at City Hall near the dog park. United Against Climate Change Fair is scheduled for November 4th under the Community Park Gazebo from 3 to 6 p.m. 3 high school seniors are organizing a United Against Climate Change Fair as San Mateo County Youth Climate Ambassadors. Booths will be presented from South San Francisco Scavengers, San Mateo County's Office of Sustainability, Citizens Environmental Council, Citizens Climate Lobby, and the City of Brisbane. Free t-shirts featuring their logo will be available at the event. You can get more information on the website unitedagainstclimatechange.com. And that is tonight's report.
Thank you. Can I add something real quick, Clay?
Sure.
Just for anybody who's listening and thinks the fun run might get wet and the barbecue might get wet, I was assured today that there was going to be tents and they were going to keep you all dry at the barbecue. So there you go. Just heard that this afternoon. Okay, moving on to item K, Mayor Council Matters, countywide assignments and subcommittee reports. Who has something to say?
There weren't any subcommittees the past 2 weeks.
I was kind of wondering that. Okay, scrap that one. Item L is the City Council meeting schedule. The City Council workshop is this Sunday, October 24th at 10:30 a.m. in the Mission Room Center. Please make sure that your calendars are marked and have the time and location marked correctly. Item M is written communications. City Clerk, are there any written communications this week?
There were no City Council correspondences received the past 2 weeks.
Okay, great, thank you. Item 12 is oral communications number 2. Does any member of the public wish to make any public comment at this time?
Madam Mayor, I have not received any written correspondences, or I don't see any hands up and hands raised at the meeting.
Then item 13, and this is quickest City Council meeting we've had in a long time, is adjournment. The meeting is now adjourned at 8:25 p.m. Good night, everybody, and have a great night. And let's hope for some more rain for tomorrow morning. Thanks. Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.